Thanks for tuning in. Today I have attorney Peter LoSavio to discuss something that many Louisiana families don't know that they need to plan for: how to transfer oil and mineral rights after a loved one passes away. Good morning.
Good morning, Kennedy. Pleasure to be with you today.
What are the basics of mineral rights after death?
Well, if they're held by an individual person, they're part of his estate, and they have to go through probate, and that means you have to get a judgment of possession to show who the owners of the deceased mineral interests are, and that usually takes some time. So this can cause a disruption in the mineral interest payments going to the heirs of the deceased. If the will specifies who gets the mineral interest, the will have that property going to those people. If it doesn't specify, it may pass by the laws of intestacy. So it may end up going to people you don't want to get the mineral interest. So it's very important to plan for these things. I think nobody expects to pass away.
Yeah.
So they always seem to delay these things. Delay is not in your favor. It's better to be prepared.
So let's plan to avoid a surprise.
That's right.
What happens to oil royalties?
We don't want any interruption in the payments going to the heirs. So we always advise that mineral interest be placed in an entity that'll never die, like an LLC, limited liability company, or corporation. They're going to exist forever. So the owner or member passes away, the entity is still in existence, and the oil company continues to make the payments to the entity. So there's no interruption in the payments. You don't want the income stream to be stopped while you have to go through the probate process, which could take months, could take years. Depends on how complex and how much controversy there is. Probate shouldn't take that long, but if there's contested wills, heirs contested, or people showing up saying they're heirs, it could go on a while.
Can you tell me more about inherited mineral rights and taxes?
This comes as a surprise to some people. They start receiving this check from the oil company, and they're real happy. They go out and spend the money, and then the next year they receive a 1099 from the oil company saying, oh, that revenue that you've been getting from us, that monthly check, is taxable. And of course, if they spend all the money, they have a little bit of a problem. So it's important to realize that that check that's coming in the mailbox or being deposited into your bank account is taxable, and that you're making estimated payments, because most people are not disciplined enough to save the money till tax time and pay it. So you could end up with a large amount of money being owed for taxes. And if you're going and bought yourself a new car or going on a very lavish vacation and not have the money, it's a bad situation to be in.
Can mineral rights be placed in a trust?
Yes, they can. And it's good because that way you can avoid probate with them. And also they can be prevented from being seized by your creditors. So trusts are real good for asset protection. And you can have the trustee managing the money coming into the trust, paying your estimated taxes. So it can be beneficial to people who are not very good with managing money.
What are the key takeaways?
Well, the key takeaways are, one, to do estate planning and financial planning, considering your mineral interest. You don't want to have any interruptions due to someone passing away. So, be sure you have in your will or your trust who's going to get those interests. And that leads to the second point is you probably want to have those interests inside something that's not going to pass away, like a limited liability company, an LLC, or a corporation. So there's no necessity for that asset to be probated, which can cause a delay in you receiving your royalty payments. And third, it's very good to keep records. A lot of times when people come in, they don't have a copy of their original lease. They've lost it. They haven't kept copies of the checks, so they can't tell you how much money they've been receiving over the years. And that can get very important as far as valuing it, or even having a geologist or petroleum engineer saying if you have been getting the right amount of money off the well. All companies do make mistakes, and they may not have been sending you the right amount of money. Lastly, and very importantly, you have to remember that the mineral interest or royalty payments are taxable. You need to pay estimated taxes on that money you're receiving. Otherwise, you end up with a huge tax bill and not having the money to pay the bill, which is the world's worst situation.
For sure.
It's very important to plan ahead and get legal and financial advice about the money you're receiving and setting aside to pay the taxes to work for you, to make money for you.
If you have questions on how to transfer your mineral rights and how to protect your royalties, we're here to help. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more estate planning insights.